Good morning, USA. It's October the 20th, and here we are with another episode of UGG TV Daily News. And we're going to just dive right into it. Got a lot of interesting stuff to talk about. But, I want to share something with you that, over the week we learned a lot. We learned that Russia wants to end the war in Ukraine, but it's simply not going to happen. And Ukraine wants their land back the way that it was back in 1991. We also learned that Russia annexed a large chunk of the southeast Ukraine, and they're not giving it back. And meanwhile, the West keeps funding the Ukraine war. That is going to get much more painful for the Ukraine. And no more parties in Kyiv. No more parties when the power and the water is actually turned off. There won't be any more party going on. And we talked about Martin Armstrong. Martin Armstrong says that the West wants a war because the debt is defaulting and they need someone to blame it on. And the satanic globalists say they want to build back better, but there may not be much left when it's all said and done. May not be enough to build back better. And the problems, we also learned, for the Democrats, they just keep piling up. I mean, yesterday I was watching Biden again, and he went through one of those I don't know where I am episodes again. It was what? Can you imagine, you guys? He was, dementia.
He does that thing. He does that thing where he shakes hands with, and nobody's there. He turns and he looks and he shakes, and there's nobody there.
Well, he actually was shaking hands with a poster yesterday. Him and John Fetterman. I could not wait. That's just like, by the way, 18 days till we can get this country back in our hands. Vote, 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 vote. 18 more days. 18 more days. Anyway, Biden was, Dementia Joe Biden was up on the stage with Bubble Neck Fetterman, and man, or should I say stroke? I shouldn't say bubble neck, but stroke. And I don't know. It was a clown show. It was sad because literally Biden was doing the talking for Fetterman because Fetterman can't do any talking unless he's looking at a computer and getting things and reading it and then responding. That's the only way he can do it. But anyway, Biden, he gets up there and he does his little 20 billion, 10 trillion, he don't know what he's talking about. And then he turns around and he's got to shake a poster. I don't know. That guy, something else. So
if that was Trump, right? If that was Trump, immediately he would have been impeached. 100%. A long time ago.
A long time ago.
Showing signs of dementia.
Oh yeah.
Or other signs.
Yeah.
It was the media would be talking about it 24/7.
Well, remember they did try to say that he wasn't right, and they still say he's not right. I don't know, but I see the polls, and I see the polls are strong for President Trump. But right now, I don't want to talk about President Trump. I want to talk about these midterms because we're only 18 days away from these midterms. And it's very, very important because unless you want more of this bull crap that's going on out there, and you're going to hide underneath the rock and just let them take control, and we're going to talk a lot about that today. There's a big meeting going on right now with the IMF and the International Monetary Fund and these digital currency people, and I'm going to list all these names. Look, digital currency is real, and you got to remember that executive order 14067 actually goes in effect in just 2 months from now, in December. And so it's interesting now that all these international countries are getting together and putting together this central bank digital currency. Remember one thing, before COVID even hit, Klaus Schwab and the Economic Forum were already running like programs, drills for pandemics to happen, and then right after a pandemic. What's the odds of that happening? Anyway, so the problems for the Democrats, they're just piling up right now, and the economy seems to keep tanking. Look, it's not all about the stock market. Stock market goes up, stock market goes down. It was up this morning. Who knows what it's going to do by the end of the day? It's not about the stock market that's showing the economy. What's showing the economy is inflation in the numbers, the CIP, Consumer Price Index, or CPI, Consumer Price Index. So all of these things are what's really showing what's going on. And those of you that are coming in on this video right now, you know if you don't have anything, how it feels to start rationing your food or rationing what your kids can eat. They can't go and get that special treat that they used to get when they went into the grocery store. So the economy keeps tanking. And Democrat and midterm candidates are running from the press. I mean, come on. Look at what's her name? Hobbs. She was running from the press because they started pressing her on when she was doing those slavery things, when she was bad, because total racist. And then when they started confronting her about it, from what I understand and from they're saying, she ran into the bathroom and hit herself in the bathroom. Well, yesterday I was watching a video and I saw the AOC, who definitely is not going to win back in New York, because she's got a very violent mob out there that want to get a hold of her. But she was speaking, and they started turning off the lights while she was speaking. I mean, it was like pitch dark. I thought, oh, shit, what's happening? And then they turned it on, and she wasn't there. And then you saw her hiding in the little kitty corner, and they had a little bodyguard in front of her. And she says, well, my handlers tell me that I have to go and get out when it gets dark like that. And I'm thinking, yeah, I'd get out of there too. Yeah. And there are a lot of people that are pissed off at AOC right now. So AOC, I think you can pack your bags and go back to bartending.
They see how hypocritical she is.
For real. So they're running from the press and any sort of debate of fearing about being creamed. I mean, all of them, they can't stand in front of the press because they can't handle being debated. And man,
the Joe Biden in the basement strategy.
Yeah, I think this is worse than being in the basement. This is just not. At least Biden came out a little bit. These people don't even want to be seen. I mean,
I don't know. He didn't come out that much.
He came out a little. These people ain't coming out at all. In fact, when they get cornered by the press, they go and run and hide in the bathroom. Or if the lights go out, they go and hide and tremble. I mean, I literally saw her up there. She was like this in the corner, and there was a guy in front of her, and she had her legs up in there, in the air, her legs up in the air because she was in a tight little spot, and she was like this. I was thinking, you are one scared bee. But she didn't. She came out and she said, well, they tell me I got to go run and hide when the lights go out. I'm thinking, that makes sense. The boogeyman will get you. The boogeyman might get you. And you're in New York. Gotham. Gotham, man. I mean, I was listening to another one I saw yesterday. Remember I told you how they're going to start dressing up in costumes? So there was a guy with a samurai sword. He dressed up in a ninja outfit and was in the subway going around with his subway. Crazy stuff. Just crazy. We had some samurai guy here in Los Angeles the other day, and they hit him so hard with the tasers. And he still had that samurai sword, and he fell down on the ground like this. And then they kept like tasing his ass when he was laying on the ground. I'm like, they need to keep tasing him until he's like unconscious or something. And that's exactly what they did. But anyway, let me tell you something else we learned. That inflation is officially a 40-year high. Some of y'all ain't even old enough. I mean, you're I can relate. You guys are in. Andy can. Well, Andy, you was a kid. You were in grade school. Rob, I don't. Rob, were you? Rob wasn't even born 40 years ago.
I thought you were 60.
Yeah. Look at a baby. It's a baby. Anyway, 40-year high. What do you think about that, Rob? 40 years high inflation. I mean, you know about it now because you're in the industry.
Right. But I'm experiencing it, right? You know, like I was telling Andy yesterday, you know, I'm going on a trip to Hawaii in a couple weeks. And,
lucky you.
The kennel that I use for my dog and for my cat, last time I went to Hawaii for any vacation was like for 2 pets for 7 days. It was like $200, right?
Yeah, how much is it now?
For heaven's sake, it's about upwards of $775 plus tax. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that's rough animals.
Wow.
It's ridiculous.
Romo? We ain't going no kennel. Romeo's down here. I'm like, Romo, you ain't going no kennel. By the way, my dog goes everywhere with me. I found this boy like now 6 years ago, and I found him in a shelter before he got locked up. And this lady walked in, and this dog. One day I'll show you. I'll show you a picture Monday of this dog. But he has a heart on the end of his tongue, and it's a birthmark of a heart. Anyway, I was going through some hard times. I'd lost somebody, and I was going through some hard times. Anyway, this dog comes in, and he's looking at me, and he's got like this mark on his tongue. I'm like, what is that on his tongue? And she said, oh, he was born with a heart on his tongue. Well, anyway, she was bringing the dog back because they adopted this dog for like a person that had autism, an older lady that had autism. And she was the representative from the church that actually adopted the dog for this lady. And they were bringing it back because the autism lady, and they were calling him Roger.
Roger?
Yeah, it was Roger. Because Roger and this old lady couldn't get along very good. So I'm like, you got to lock him up. And he hadn't been locked up yet. And this guy is big old guy like this. And he's sitting behind the desk. And he's like, you could tell he was busy, right? He didn't want more dogs coming in. And by the way, I already been all over that kennel. And I wanted to take every single one of those guys home and girls home. Right. And anyway, I said, you got to lock that dog up? And the guy's like, well, yeah, I've got to, got to put him in the kennel, got to, bring him in, register him back in and all that. And the lady says, well, can't I just give him to him? And the guy's like, well, yeah, he's your dog. You haven't officially brought him in yet. She said, okay, I'm just going to give him to him. And I'm like, wow. And he was skinny and scrawny. I mean, he was about this big, but his ears went like straight up. And it's German Shepherd, by the way. And I was like, I knew right then and there that he was sent from upstairs down to me. And so I said, your name ain't Roger no more. It's Romeo. And listen, this is a true story. I'm driving down the road after I left that shelter. I look up in the sky, and what do I see? I see a heart-shaped cloud in the sky.
Oh, no way.
Now, by the way, the person that introduced me, her name is Carrie. Carrie, I saw Carrie at this PetSmart. This was years ago. And I had another dog. His name was Samson, and Carrie and I loved him and everything. And so I donated to Carrie's foundation. It's called, by the way, I'll plug it. It's called the Ace of Hearts Foundation. You can Google it. You can go to her website, aceofheartsfoundation.com. And I saw her, and she's like, well, how's Samson doing? I'm like, oh, Carrie, Samson died. Oh, well, you need to get another dog. I said, no, I don't. No, I don't. And then that's how I ended up at the shelter. So she calls down there and tells them that I'm coming. So the Ace of Hearts Foundation, Ace of Hearts, heart on the end of his tongue, and heart in the sky. Now, that's why I say he came from upstairs. He came from God. So Romeo's been with me ever since. That's just a little fuzzy love story. But Romeo is like the best. And anyway, so we found that inflation is officially a 40-year high, and that mortgage giants, Fannie and Freddie, are now in big insolvency trouble again.
They've been for a while.
Major. And that the 30-year mortgage now has doubled since January. Doubled. And home sales have tanked. And the stock market is following the same pattern that it did just before the monster 1929 crash. And experts say it will be far more destructive because the debt is far more out of control and it's unpayable. And Black Monday 1929, that's what they called it, Black Monday, was on October the 24th.
Oh, crap. Wow.
You didn't know that, did you?
Well, I mean, the specific date, no. I mean, I'm familiar with the events, of course, right? But the October 24th, 1929. Like, you know, uh, what a crazy time, right? It's like everything has a mirror,
Yeah.
of itself.
Yeah. And think about it. October 24th is coming this Monday. And Bo Penny, remember we talked about Bo Penny?
Yeah.
Maybe I'll share that again. Maybe I'll share that again on Monday, and we'll see what happens on Monday. But Bo Penny says, look out for a modern Black Monday and a rough next few weeks. What Bo Penny said. And Bo Penny's been pretty correct most of the time.
He's been predicting a lot of things.
Yeah. And you know that the economy keeps tanking, and these midterm candidates are running from the press, and the Dems have a bad message, a bad economy, and a bad president. And Joe Biden is lucky right now to have 10% approval if the polls were not all a bunch of you-know-what. And now more and more cheating, from what I'm being told, is being whittled down, and it all spells a disaster in November, or there will be a gigantic false flag to stop the election. That's what they're saying out there. Now, all I can tell you is get out, vote. Don't let any of this happen. We're only 18 days away. I understand that, the voting is becoming more and, numbers are bigger out there. So I got a feeling that it's going to be a very huge election. But there's only one way we can decide what's going to happen and that's by us voting and voting the right way. I can't tell you how to vote, but I can give you the circumstances around it. Hey, you remember when I got really emotional? What was it, a week or so ago? About and I'm just wondering if somebody might have saw our video, and because remember I got emotional about how these daycare workers actually scared these kids, and that's one that did we show a video?
I don't actually. No, we didn't.
Yeah, because we probably would have gotten taken down.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's interesting because the now ex-daycare workers, they have been charged after scaring children with those scary masks. And I'm so happy that this happened, you guys, because this really tugged at me knowing that grown adults actually put these masks on these kids and scared these kids so bad that they were uncontrollable in fear, shaking with fear. So these 5 former Mississippi convicts going to prison, daycare workers, they've been slapped with, thank God for this, Rob, Andy, child abuse charges after a viral video showed them scaring a bunch of children while wearing Scream-style masks and laughing at them in the background because they were so scared. And I'm going to mention their names. I'm going to put their names out there because it's already out there in the media. So the former employees, one was Sierra McCandless, Candales, Oceana Kilburn. Oh, these were all girls. Jennifer Newman and Cheyenne Shelton, and they were all charged with 3 counts of felony child abuse. Now, how much time do you think they could get for that, Rob? You said this to me yesterday, and I had to go find it. I was like, yay!
Yeah, I think it's a maximum, the max is 48 years for those 3 accounts.
They deserve every bit of the time that they're going to face. You know that?
I mean, they're just big idiots. They're clowns. They got what they deserved, for sure.
For sure. I'll tell you another clown. This is another one. is this Representative Rashid Talib. And how do you say her name? Talib. Okay. Anyway, I can't even believe that she's elected and that she's even a representative of anything, because she's now representing a bill. Do you know about this? To change the definition of sex in the civil rights law. So she's introducing this bill, and she hopes to change the definition of sex to include. The reason I'm mentioning this is here we are fighting inflation. People are hungry. Food prices are up. Gasoline is still up. I don't care what anybody says. They say it's going to go down. I hope so, but it's only going to go down for a little while, and it's only going down during the midterm elections, and then right after it's going to go back up again. But, and that's what they're doing. They're just playing games. But anyway, rather than talking about sex and changing the definition of sex, do something. I think where is she? Is she in, what? Michigan. Oh, do something for your state. Do something for the people in your state. Don't be talking about a definition of sex to include sexual orientation, pregnancy, gender identity, sex stereotypes, or sex-related traits. I think the only reason you say these damn things is because that's all you damn well know. I wonder, like AOC, when does she go up for election? When does this girl get taken out?
I think AOC is up for election right
She's
now.
Going to go. She's bye-bye. AOC and her so-called husband, boyfriend, whatever, they're gone. She's got to go back to bartending. Wow. You, too, can become a professional bartender at Professional Bartender School.
I'm sure.
That was bartending school. AOC, hey. You too can become a professional bartender at Professional Bartender School. So just go on. Get out. Get out while you can. Just make sure that the lights are on when you're bartending.
Yeah, I mean, I hate to say it, but I don't think she's going back to bartending. Even if she loses, she'll get a big cushy job at MSNBC or CNN or something like that.
One of those far left middle.
Yeah, she'll be a big voice for the far left, and that's. It's all about moving up and using your clout, and politicians, they just get opportunities like that because they're favorites on the far left or whatever. But she's starting to get some pushback, and it's great to see from within her own constituency.
New York.
Yeah, from within New York.
I think the people in New York are fed up with what's going on. Hopefully, it's not about a liberal or a conservative or anything like that. It's about a person that wants to save their state.
Yeah, and here's how you know that the tide is really turning. In Oregon, the leading candidate for governor in Oregon is a Republican in Oregon. And not only that, but Philip Knight, who was the original founder of Nike, he donated $1 million to this Republican's campaign. And Nike is like the epitome of the world.
Well, that's because look what's going on in Oregon. I mean, my God.
But people are waking up. People are waking up, and even in liberal states, they're saying enough. We can't take this shit anymore. It's time. We have to, like you said, there are real problems in life. Life has serious. Problems.
Let's take a look at let's take a look right here in our own home backyard, and right outside our doors, Los Angeles. I mean, I used to see policemen all over the streets. I don't see any more policemen, and I think that Los Angeles covers up a lot of stuff. I think that a lot of we hear about a lot of crime, but man, look at Oregon. Oregon's like a mini Gotham, right? But it's interesting because, we don't see, for some reason in this area anymore, you don't see so much of the homeless like we did before, like the tents popped up,
Are you kidding?
I don't see them. Not right in here. I don't see them as much. You?
I see them everywhere.
But now I went to I went near the ocean.
Playa Vista.
Playa Vista.
Oh no, wait.
And I saw. Or where? Right. I saw.
I am the mayor of Playa Vista.
Oh, you are.
Yeah.
Oh, is that your home?
That's my home.
I mean, as soon as you go over there, it's okay. But like behind it, I saw like I couldn't believe all the broken down RVs and tents that are all up and down the street.
Yeah, near the Culver City area. It's terrible.
Inglewood Boulevard and all that
Inglewood,
area.
Ladera Heights. Yeah, those areas right there, that's like where they're camped out, but you start going
like where do those people, why don't we have like, I was wondering about this, and I'm like, why don't we have like toilet potties set up for these people?
urinals for them?
Yeah, they're where are they doing it? Defecating on our streets? Is that where that's? See, I don't really get. I'll be honest with you. I lead a very sheltered life. I go from my office to my home, my office to my home. I don't really get out there and go downtown and go into these places because I'll be honest with you, I'm scared. When you actually get out there and you're hearing about, I mean, there was a young girl and her mother. They just moved here, and she had only been here for like 2 months. And this poor girl was walking down the street. And this was like in the Melrose area, in the Wilshire area, whatever.
Really?
Yeah. And this guy just, while she's walking down, he just takes a pair of garden shears and stabs her in the back of her head. Well, guess what? Those garden shears lodged in the back of her head, and she's walking, and she finally fell down. Well, she's in the hospital. They had to literally go in, and they put her in a coma. They had to go in, and they had to take that garden shear, that metal, out of her skull. Now, I've never heard if they found the guy or not because there's never been anything mentioned. But supposedly it was a homeless person.
Yeah.
So what I hear is that's why I'm afraid to go. I'll be honest with you. I'm scared.
Yeah.
It's like.
Well, you're much older than most the people hanging out.
Yeah, but I could take care of myself.
Yeah, of course. But
it's like
you don't
when
want
you're
to put
walking,
yourself in a position like that.
But Rob, when you're walking down the street and you've got Romeo on a leash, now Romeo's here. But if we're facing this way and somebody's behind you, they can just come up and stab you in the back.
Yeah.
And this country, this is becoming like this out here.
A lot of psychotic, mentally ill people.
Andy,
when I was very dangerous. Let me just say one thing. In boxing, the cardinal rule in boxing is protect yourself at all times. When you're out on the streets in LA, that has to be the first thought in your head. Protect yourself at all times. That's the number one rule in life. You got to be thinking of safety first.
Andy, I'll tell you something. When now I don't know why, we used to have like mental institutions for people to go into, like when they were really like lost. But now they just enable them. Yeah. They enable them, and all these people that are homeless and on the street, I'm starting to see. I see it cleaning up, but when I went over there, it was like interesting. It's like they're literally living in their cars, and those cars are tore up and beat up. They can't move. Those RVs, they can't move, and that's their home. I understand they need a home. I get it, but man, as far as like being safe on the streets, I don't even go out at night. I went out last night. I got home like at 9:30. That's as late as I'll ever stay out. It's just like you don't dare go out at night, and you can't. You got to be careful what you're doing and what you're wearing and who you're around when you're out and about anymore. You can't really have a good time because you always got to be watching your back. Yeah. Got to be watching your back.
I tell Rob the story a lot how when I was a kid, and I grew up in LA, West LA. When I was a kid, I was walking to school by myself at 6 years old. At 6 years old,
I was running the streets when I was 2 years old. And my mom would be like, "Where is he? Where is out?"
And not only that, but all my friends were walking to school. It wasn't like I was different. It was a normal thing for kids to be walking to school.
Oh yeah, not anymore.
By yourself.
I don't even see kids around here walking to school.
Yeah, you can't do that. But you
can't walk to school no more?
I mean, I'm saying
it's too dangerous. Yeah, it's too dangerous now. You can't do it. You can't do it, and just shows you how we've talked about on the show the theme of how we're really a society in decline. like an empire in decline.
For sure.
And if you listen, Ray Dalio has a great YouTube video on this where he talks about different cycles in history and cycles of civilization. And it's very fascinating because it all repeats itself. That when we get into this late stage of a society or an empire, the money is debased, the currency is debased, devalued, there's rampant crime, the values of the society start to deteriorate, and people lose track with the whole with the core values of society, and that's kind of where we're at now. We have to really have a renaissance, and then we have the Renaissance period, which is a rebirth when things start to turn around. People rediscover, hey, this country's based on liberty. This country's based on human rights and values, and there being a creator. So we return to the true values that are the foundation of our civilization.
Andy, you're a school teacher, and you probably can relate this, but I remember when I'd go into school, I'd sit down at my little desk, and I'd have to put my hand on my heart, and I'd say, I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America. Do they still do that?
Yeah, they do it, but it's I pledge allegiance to the rainbow flag of the United States.
Nah. Are you serious?
No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, my God.
It's going in that direction.
Oh, my God. But anyway, do they still put their hand in? Do you know?
I don't know if they still do. I think a lot of schools probably don't still do the Pledge of Allegiance. I'm not sure, to be honest. But I think it would be a really interesting experiment. Like, we talked about yesterday, the experiment when a person went to UCLA and asked about, remember the trolling experiment?
Yeah, about
if we went to UCLA and asked the students, should we change the American flag to the rainbow flag? Should we change that and say, the American flag stands for racism and sexism and colonialism and oppression?
Well, that's what Tlaib wants to do. She wants to change everything. And then, sounds like. She wants to roll back thing.
What he's saying,
Alan, what percent do you think would say we should change to the rainbow flag? Probably be a very, very high percent.
Oh my God!
We should do that. We should literally, me and Andy should go to UCLA or USC and actually conduct this poll. Like, make
that would be interesting. If y'all want to see that, let us know. We can actually stream that. Yeah. We could stream that and put it on. If you all want to see that, let us know. Give us a comment. And by the way, give us a call anytime, 800-753-8534. Again, 800-753-8534 or 323-380-5485. And we'll be happy to discuss how you can protect yourself. Look, we get calls all day long. If you call the call center and you don't want to talk to those people, just, call me at 323-380-5485. Ask for either Robert or Andy. I'll make sure that we get them on the phone. Hey, we've been talking a lot. We've been touching a lot on the digital currency, and I kind of mentioned it in the opening. But now what's interesting is there are global finance elites. They call them elites. And they're actually meeting to discuss the digital currencies to control people with the use of digital scores. And I want to touch on that just a little bit. And included in this group were Her Majesty Maxima of the Netherlands, who's also the United Nations Secretary General Special Advocate for Inclusive Finance for Development.
What a load of horse shit that is.
Well, and then you got Kristalina Georgiev, Managing Director at the IMF. And you have Bo Lee, the Deputy Managing Director. We talked about him. And Cecilia Skinsley, who is the Bank of International Settlements Innovation Hub Director.
Are these real names?
And these are, yeah. I'll tell you what.
They sound like evil financiers, evil globalists.
No.
Like villains.
Villains, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Actually, they're CBDCs, look at this, for financial inclusion, risk, and rewards. And this is actually going now on October. This happened on October 14th, and we kind of touched on it. And this is where, unlike cryptocurrencies, which are private, central bank digital currencies, CBDCs, will be issued and controlled by the central banks themselves. And in many ways, it's the same as banknotes, but it's likely that every single transaction will be monitored for compliance. And if you listen to Clyde Lewis on Ground Zero, and I've been on there with Clyde many a times, you'll hear Clyde. By the way, you can find Clyde at groundzero.org. But if you listen to Clyde, Clyde will tell you that this digital currency is no good. It's a way for them to trace you. It can track you. It can do all these sort of things. And as a result of this potential programmability, government agencies, they can precisely target and support packages to the right people. That CBDCs can't solve every financial inclusion or challenge, but they can work together with financial literacy and digital literacy, and CBDCs will have to work with other policies like digital identities and wallets. And this goes hand in glove with what the World Bank group report titled CBDC for Cross-Border Payment was described in November of 2021. And so these digital identity verification, they say, is essential to the operation of the CBDCs. I know you guys are biting, but I want to share this with them because this is what they're talking about at this conference, and particularly in cross-border transactions. And tradable digital assets must be tied to a digital identity system. It sounds like software, sounds like tracking to me, and which in turn should be tied to an automatic KYC and AML CFT verification system. And this is a foundational step to the potential use of CBDCs and emerging developments in regulatory and compliance technology may benefit central banks' experiments in the digital currency space. I'm just going to share a clip with you guys, and this is actually all over the internet. Listen to this really quick here. You ready? Watch this. Oh my. There you go. He said it right there. They literally can trace everything. And it can be programmed to determine what people can and cannot own. I know you guys are just biting right now. Go ahead.
You know, the bottom line is this. You know, we've talked about this we've been talking this for a very long time. Traditionally, what happens in the East trickles over to the West. Look back what happened a year ago. 70 to 80 million individuals in China were using a digital yuan. China uses a social credit system, right? Credit score system, right? You know, in a nutshell, what they're saying is that they're losing control and they need to regain control, right? They want to control what you buy, your lifestyle, and everything that has to do from A to Z with your finances. And secondly, it's interesting how they target lower income individuals as their test subjects, right? You know, this is the exact reason why you want to have real money, sound money, gold, silver, right? You want to take
Robert, I got to break. I got to stop right now. I got to come back in. I got breaking news right now that just came out. I got to share this with because a lot of us are conservatives, and we just found out breaking news that Steve Bannon was now sentenced to actually 4 months in prison. So Steve Bannon, judge sentences Bannon to 4 months in prison, and has been ordered to pay a fine. Wow, wow! Are you ready for this? Only $6,500, but yet they're going to put him in prison for 4 months. Now, this Judge Nichols said he agreed that Bannon should not serve a sentence while he appeals his case, which Bannon has indicated he will do. So it looks like Bannon is now going to appeal. Hey, I just got a note here. It said something. Somebody's watching. It said there's no place to put comments. They do not say the pledge in the majority of the schools. And yes, it would be interesting to see what flag the.
Okay.
So they do want to see it. You know what? I don't know why you're not seeing the comments. We'll figure this out because we see comments all the time. I'll find out why you're not seeing comments, and we'll get back to you. Go ahead. I want you to finish talking about this digital currency. I didn't want to interrupt you, but that breaking news had to come out.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to continue what Rob was saying. The government wants control. The government is all about control, and Rob's absolutely right. They are losing control. They know that. It's inevitable. And they're doing everything they can to cement that control. And they're stealing the creative ideas. The government never comes up with anything itself, really, unless some secret program. But cryptocurrency has had the idea of smart contracts for a long time now, and eliminating the middleman, and having transactions between individuals that the smart contract can validate, so you don't have to go through a third party like a bank or any type of.
Well, that's why you structure the smart contract.
Right. So they're stealing.
Rob, you seem to know a little bit about that. What is a smart contract?
Well, yeah. So the smart contract that enables you to interact through.
Is it a contract that I sign?
No.
What is a smart contract?
No. It's an algorithmic kind of program that handles transactions between people. So you can have a transaction without, and it will be verified by the smart contract without having a third party to come in and say,
So this is all digital.
Yeah, yeah. This is what cryptocurrency has been developing for years.
I mean, me and
the
Andrew,
government
we've been investing in cryptocurrencies
for quite a long time.
Quite some time now.
And so the government is stealing this idea and using it for their own control. So that's really what they're trying to do. They're the real innovators and I think the spirit of cryptocurrency is all about decentralization.
All right, so you guys said that you're investing in digital currency, but you also invest in precious metals.
Yeah,
but
first and foremost.
I mean, are you investing like in Bitcoin and Ethereum and all these that are like going nowhere?
Well, listen, when you look at
digital air,
when you look at the cryptocurrency markets, traditionally, once a bull market hits for a year and a half, 2-year bull market hits, you're looking at massive profit taking. So you will see the price of Ethereum, the price of Near Protocol, the price of Polkadot, the price of Cardano capitulate 85 to 94%. It's a traditional, normal thing in cryptocurrencies. The idea of purchasing cryptocurrencies is not to get rich quick, which it has the benefits of actually, making you significantly wealthy, right? But it's for the ability to recluse your money, get off the grid, and actually become your own bank in a sense.
So in other words, it's another way you could diversify.
It's just like gold and silver. It's just digital, but it's not sound money.
Well, yeah, I was going to say, what if the digital world just comes crashing down?
Well, that's not going to happen.
I've seen they said the .com bubble.
That's not going to happen because you have to look where the government's headed. The government is basically
so now let me ask you a question.
Form of central bank
I got you, Rob. But
currency.
now let me ask you a question. All right, so I invest in this Bitcoin, and I see it's 19. I see 19,000, whatever it is.
Yeah,
it just
sure.
keeps, and it's been kind of like holding there, and the only thing is though that if it's digital air and it crashes, then it's all gone, right? I don't have anything, no substance, nothing to hold on to. This is why I like gold and silver, you guys, because with gold and silver, I actually have something that I can hold on to. right? If it's digital air, it's just like having a stock. It's not, it's just debt. And you think about it, what are you paying for that digital air? NFTs, all this crap.
Well, see, the thing with NFTs, non-fungible tokens, is the idea of actually having true ownership over an asset. You have to look at what's happening right now in the East Coast, where a lot of real estate transactions are being conducted through an NFT, a non-fungible token. The smart contract executes the sale from the seller to the buyer through the NFT, which gives the buyer digital ownership over the title of the actual property, right? So NFTs are not just, ridiculous, clowny pictures, because trust me, in a million,
I saw
in
some
a million
monkeys,
years,
I saw some
exactly. That's what I was getting to. In a million
I saw
years,
Tupac Shakur come
listen,
back to life.
I would never buy a
things.
freaking picture of an ape or of whatever they make nowadays. I'm not into art like that, but I like the idea behind an NFT, right? The ownership of NFT. And you have to look at where things are headed right now. Everything's going digital, but the issue is the centralization of what's happening with the IMF, the social credit scores, right? The inability to actually have control over your deposit account in the future, the inability to actually purchase goods and services as you please and how you want to, who you send your money to.
All right, so question. So I got this digital, okay. Number one, we know that they're coming out, the government's coming out with its own central bank digital currency.
Correct.
Do you in your right mind think that they're going to allow you to have another form of any type of digital currency?
100%, because it's a tax authority's dream, right? You have to think about how much taxes are going to be
they're going to charge taxes on the digital, you're saying.
On any asset that's digital. It's a tax authority's dream, right? So let's say you do make significant money. I don't like Bitcoin. I don't believe in the hype. I mean, if you were buying Bitcoin, you should have done it,
a long time ago. When Dave bought, he bought a house. He put like a couple $100,000 down from that Bitcoin.
Hey, listen,
that was when it was like $60 or whatever, or $60,000 or something. What was the number?
Yeah, it went up to 69.
Yeah, it was really, really high. Listen, I want to get away from the Bitcoin part of it right now.
Right.
There's some other interesting, the dollar has been rallying really, really high. And, I've been talking about this and by the way, if y'all want to talk to Rob about Bitcoin digital currency, he's pretty knowledgeable about that. Him and Andy are both pretty knowledgeable. They diversify. I don't get into digital air. I only like hard assets, and my friends all know that as well. And I know you're hearing me because you're texting me. I know I don't like that stuff. But these guys, they know it. And there is a way, by the way, that you can actually get into digital currency with retirement funds. But be very careful. That's all I can tell you. Talk to two guys that actually are making money, that know how to do it. And that's how, things happen. You learn by doing. But step in a little lightly. Diversify. So I've been talking about how the U.S. uses the dollar as a weapon, right? And they're literally hurting our allies, like Japan now. And the Bank of Japan right now, with this strong U.S. dollar, has bulldozed the Japanese yen yesterday, prompting another threat of intervention from Tokyo. And the yen actually is now it traded at 150.09 per dollar early Thursday, according to FactSet. And it breached the psychologically important 150 level and marking its weakest level versus the dollar. Listen to this number, since August of 1990. Wow. Before finding some support, the dollar fetched 149.88 per yen, virtually flat on the day in recent activity. So now Japan is struggling. And that's what the country is doing. And this is why, in my mind, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but in my mind, you got all these digital people meeting at the IMF. You got all this going on. You got Biden talking about the 14,067 in December. And all these currencies are just dropping. All dropping. And remember, I've always said that the broadest form of this government digital currency, the CBDC, is the central banks offering us deposit accounts. So all of us, including municipalities, all of us, will all have these accounts with the Federal Reserve here in the United States instead of with these private banks. So now all of our, and remember, J.P. Morgan Chase, all these guys, they're all members of the FDIC. They're member banks. So, like I said, this is very interesting that all these currencies are just dropping around the world. I've been saying now, and in fact, I've been saying this for 2 years. I said we're headed toward a currency war. We're actually in a currency war right now. And that's why the ruble, look at the ruble. The ruble is strong over in Russia. And yet the dollar is great over in Europe. Our dollar is worth a lot more overseas. But here in the United States, our dollar is becoming worth less and less and less. What was the number, you guys, if you had $1 million back in, what was it, that you had actually $750,000 in your account now? What was that dollar? When was that? What was that year?
I think that was a span over
something like that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And, I want to share something else. We were talking about control. Well, I know it's all over the news. Everybody's heard about this, that Elon Musk is looking to take Twitter, and he's looking to do this Twitter acquisition. Well, the Biden regime now is investigating Elon Musk Twitter acquisition, and Joe Biden, now remember, Elon Musk wants to keep freedom of speech. He wants to keep, you can say what you can say to a point. You don't want to have child rapers and murderers and all that on there. But you want to have people being able to say things and do things that aren't going to hurt you in any kind of way. And Elon Musk is taking over Twitter. And now what Joe Biden is talking about is how they can actually take over using national security excuse. It's another control thing, right? And the regime would use the excuse that Musk takeover of the far left social media, as they call it, giant could actually threaten national security. And this Biden family has been flagged over 150 times for illicit banking transactions, which we've seen with foreign players, including businessmen from China and Ukraine. There, I said it. And that the Department of Justice just keeps ignoring these warnings that Joe Biden, Hunter Biden, and James Biden sold the influences to foreign countries, and this has been going on for years. And we have proof. The FBI has the proof, but nobody seems to want to do anything with it. This is all news that's coming out. So, I just pray that, these guys are able to, that the government can't just shut things down like this. Andy, without getting us in trouble, I think I already.
What we're seeing here is we don't have anything near equal justice in this country.
Not like you used to.
When you have the Bidens that are so obviously corrupt, they should all be in prison.
Here we go now.
It's so clear that the FBI they're going after a grandma who was walking into the Capitol building, who took a picture with the security guard, and she's put away in jail. She can't get bail. But the Bidens run free, and they're afraid of Elon Musk making Twitter a free speech platform, because the government was shown to be colluding with the big social tech giants. They were shown in the whole COVID thing. It was proven.
Andy, this is why. These are
facts.
This is why we've got.
Back me up. These are facts.
No,
he's right.
This is why we've got 18 days. 18 days to change this around. And according to Senator Rick Scott, he says that the GOP now has a path to 55-seat majority in the Senate.
Wow. That's huge.
If we could get the Senate and the House and have control of the Senate and the House, Pelosi and all these people that have done things that they shouldn't have done, according to what everyone is saying, could be facing some pretty hard times.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, that's never
Pelosi
gonna
will be moving into a very nice
No,
tent.
no. Well, I
in
understand
San Francisco.
Pelosi. I heard that Pelosi wants to be going overseas and representing us and yeah. I don't know where. Anyway, I've heard some different things on that. Hey, I've got some fun stuff here for a minute, and I want you, Andy, Robert, listen to this. If you can solve this riddle, you're going to be just as smart as the FBI. Are you ready? All right. Now listen. Matthew Palandra, who goes by the name at Magic Matt on TikTok, shared a riddle that has people questioning if they should make a career change. Fine. Are you ready for this? And he begins to share the riddle filled with essential details that can make or break your entry to be a special agent. You ever wanted to be a special agent? Andy?
No.
You never wanted to be a policeman? Yeah. You ever get arrested? Oh, Andy got arrested?
No comment.
For what?
Nothing serious. Nothing.
What were you doing? What were you doing?
I'd rather not comment.
Andy got arrested, y'all. Rob,
No,
you been arrested?
It was nothing serious.
I got pulled over by the police. All right, we won't go there. All right, maybe he was drinking and driving.
Oh my God.
No, absolutely
No.
not. Absolutely not.
That's
That's Paul Pelosi's department.
No. Did he have a hooker on the side with him?
I when he got busted recently.
Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't hear about.
No, because I saw when he was in front of the state trooper,
Right.
and that state trooper was smart. He's like, but he got him. Anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway, so this riddle is going to make or break your entry as a special agent, and the riddle starts off. Now listen to this. With a man and a woman, and this man and the woman, they go out for drinks on their first date. You ever been there, Andy?
Lots of drinks.
Yeah, on your first date, and that's a lot of fun, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Depending on who you're with.
Well, and so they go off on their first date, and it's a blazing hot summer day. So while the man and the woman are waiting for their meals, they're both served a glass of ice water. Right? And the woman, she's just sweating a ton and is really extra thirsty. So she chugs down 3 glasses of ice water right at the start. Imagine being on your first date. You got this woman all sweaty in front of you. And she's just like.
I thought they were going out for drinks. Why are they drinking all the water?
Well, they give the ice water first.
Right.
Follow me.
All right.
So they're both served a glass of ice water. You know, you sit down, you get a glass of water. It's what the waiter or the waitress does, right? So, again, the woman is sweating a ton, and she's extra thirsty, so she chugs down 3 glasses of ice water right on the start, whereas the man only takes sips of his water throughout his meal. And later that day, the man texts the woman that he's violently ill and feels extremely weak. So the woman's chugging, and the man is only sipping. And before midnight, the man is pronounced dead by the police. Are you with me on this so far? So the man and the women are sitting down. They go out for drinks. They're given water. The man is sipping on it, and the woman is chugging it. I already know where your mind's going. I have a feeling. So the woman now is brought in for questioning. Oh, she's in trouble. What do you think's happening?
Number one, she's been
You think she poisoned him?
Something, yeah.
And it's found out that both her and the man's drinks were poisoned. Both of them were poisoned. Now, why did the man die but the woman didn't? I'd like to hear you guys' answer.
I think she took she knew they were both poisoned, and she wanted to cover herself, so not having only one be poisoned.
Yeah, but
So
she chugged hers.
she chugged hers, but it was all to show that it was safe to drink the water. She was doing that to show it was safe to drink the water, but she had taken a pill before to counteract.
Some bullshit.
She had taken a pill before, so that would counteract the poison.
So you're saying they have a pill that can counteract the poison?
Yeah, that can neutralize.
All right. What are your thoughts, Rob?
I mean, that's a good idea. So they had ice water, and she chugged it. So clearly the poison wasn't in the water, right?
You know the story. Don't be.
Listen, I'm very intelligent. I'm high level.
All right.
So I'm thinking that the poison was probably placed in the ice.
Yep, that's right. The poison was in the ice, but since the woman was so thirsty, she drank her glass so fast that the ice cubes never had a chance to melt.
That's what I was coming because if she's drinking the water.
Oh, okay.
You have to think about where else could the poison be. It could be in the ice.
And he's like,
right?
I'm a spy. I'll take one of them spy pills and drop it down. That way, if somebody tries to poison me, I'm covered. Oh my God,
that's like out of a James Bond movie.
I like it. Yeah, James Bond. So, yeah. And unlike her date, who slowly sipped on the drink as the ice cubes melted away, sent him to his deathbed. And a lot of people didn't like you, Andy. You never could have been a special agent. You would never have figured it out. But anyway, hey, it's been fun. Maybe I'll pull some more of these riddles. There are some more that I know. I've got some more out there. Maybe I'll pull another one on Monday. But anyway, it's been fun. God bless every single one of you. Have a great weekend. We'll see you on Monday. Peace out.